Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
What is up? Welcome to Drinkin Bros. I am your host for the day, Rob Fox. Ross is out. He's in the hospital. His wife is having a baby. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
The baby doesn't want to come out. My theory is it might not want to meet Ross.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
Also, there may be something going on inside of Jessie that we all need to know about.
No, we don't.
Like, I don't know. Maybe there's something cool in there.
Yeah, like she's got a pretty rad uterus.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds better than being alive.
Do you think
What,
she's
being-
abducted by aliens and then was like afraid to tell us, and then now she's about to spawn?
I think she's holding it in because it's going to have a fucking mullet when it comes out.
Oh, hiding something.
Yeah. Well,
There have been rumors.
yeah.
Have been saying.
I've never seen Lopez and Ross in the same place, so could
Me
be the
neither.
same dude so far as I know.
Yeah.
I don't really pay attention to people.
You just let them know you don't care about them.
Yeah, it's important to call them by the wrong name. It's a very Ron Swanson type of thing.
I support that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ross is out for the day. He'll probably be back tomorrow or...
Yeah, he'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, you can only... I mean, like, if he's not literally unconscious in the hospital, he will not stay in the hospital for very long.
He's probably in the chat. I'm just guessing.
I would
Yeah, he might be, yeah.
It would not shock me.
It would be really funny if the first sounds this baby ever hears is us talking shit about it.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Be okay with that.
Because the last time she had a kid, we were mid-show, and she went into labor. Obviously finished the show, but so
Did the water break in studio?
Well, they were in North Carolina. We were all in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
So I don't probably.
You
Like
would think so.
his studio was in the upstairs of his house.
Yeah.
I don't know. She was probably downstairs. She's like, "Hey, my water broke," and he goes, "All right, 45.
Yeah.
Be down in 45."
Got a hard out in 45 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
She said she produced the show later that day too, like edited what she needed to edit.
The audio, yeah.
Yeah, and put it up.
Not that it's not. You know, she did all the audio for Drinkin Bros for a long time, actually.
Right. People don't know this, but Jessie Wiseman is one of the great anti-maternity leave advocates in this nation.
Yeah, I mean, you know, can't blame her. Maternity leave is stupid. You don't need time off for your fucking bullshit, baby. You need to leave the workforce entirely.
She's always been anti-women.
Yeah, we call her.
I don't think she's anti-woman. She's just anti-women's rights. That's not the same thing.
That's fair.
I'm pro-woman. I just don't want them to have anything.
Right.
Right.
But they look nice. Some.
Sure, yeah.
Some.
It's for their well-being.
Right. But yeah, so Ross is out today. You'll hear his sweet, wonderful voice again soon. His first show as a #girl dad.
Yeah. It's going to be a whole new experience for him, I imagine.
I would think so. That's going to be interesting. I really want a girl. Like, I already have a boy. Now I want a girl. And then to just, get a vasectomy and be done with it. But I'm hoping for that.
To get a girl?
Yeah.
Just to round it out?
Yeah, just round it out.
You'll probably have, like, triplets next time.
That's fine.
I hope you do.
That's mostly my wife's problem, to be quite honest.
I don't think she would agree with that. But sure, yeah. Yeah, it's I can't imagine. I was talking to somebody earlier about it. I can't imagine being the dad of a girl. That just seems like, I think it's pretty, not necessarily easy to raise boys, but definitely easier than girls, right? It's got to be.
At a certain point, because I mean, like now, like my kid's fucking like 8 months old. There's like no functional difference between a boy and a girl, right?
Yeah, it's
they're
like
just-
old Chinese people.
Right.
Basically the same.
Yeah.
Male or female.
Yeah. But I guess like when they get, I don't even know when it starts to be like different. Probably when they're like kindergarten, maybe preschools, when they start to really develop like I'm girly, or like I'm a boy and I want to just fuck shit up.
Yeah. Well, I remember there's a Louis C.K. used to joke that boys fuck shit up, like they'll break your stuff, but girls are fucked up. And he tells a story about how one of his daughters, the arm or leg or head or something got broken off one of her dolls, and instead of asking for a new doll, she asked her dad to break the part off of her sister's doll as well.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like there's something going on there.
Eye for an eye situation.
It's-
He told a funny story in that too, where like I think a kid, like some little boy was over, and he took a handful of fucking dirt or something and just threw it in Louis C.K.'s drink or his mom's drink, and then like ran away. And I heard that story, and I was like, I know that's true because I've literally done something similar. Where like after I think I was like a kindergartner, maybe first grade, me and one of my really good friends from that time period. We had just finished a T-ball game or whatever, and our parents were like, okay, you can go to McDonald's. It's a Friday. So we'll go to McDonald's to get chicken nuggets and ice cream or whatever. And we were like, yeah! And I was so excited and just so hyped that I reached down and picked up a handful of like the sandy dirt on the baseball field, and I just threw it right in my friend's eyes.
For no reason.
For no fucking reason. And was like, ah, got you. And meanwhile, he's like weeping, crying. He's in pain. McDonald's was immediately canceled.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that kind of reminds me of goats, those little goats that get really excited. Because what they do is they run around in circles and jump off shit, but off their buddies. Like, they'll just jump up in midair and with all four legs at the same time kick their buddy. Like, knock his ass over. I'm like, damn, that's a pretty interesting way to celebrate.
Yeah.
Being excited. I don't know. Maybe I made that up.
But I've done that boy shit before. And that's why I get annoyed, by the way, when people are like, there's no such thing as boys will be boys. That's evil.
Yeah.
It's just boys being evil. I'm like, no. I agree with you that something like date rape or something fucked like that, that's not boys being boys. What boys being boys is like misdemeanor arson or playing a game of horse where the loser gets like a tennis ball whipped at his nutsack.
Yeah, for sure. I set my grandmother's garden on fire.
Yeah.
Because I thought I could control fire.
Same.
That's the hubris of young masculinity. That's what it is. Like, girls would never think to do something like that. It's fucking stupid.
I once locked myself in a trunk of a car with a knife and intent to dig my way out.
Of the trunk.
It was exercise for the afternoon.
To be fair, I feel like for you, that's good life preparation.
Yes,
Probably.
certainly, yeah. Because you were either going to get kidnapped or imprisoned at some point.
Yeah. Like, that's a Giorgio fire drill, essentially.
Yeah. But I did that. When I was 3 years old, we were moving into a new house, and we were playing hide and seek, my brother and I guess, because I can't think of any other reason I would have done this, but I got into their refrigerator and closed the door on myself.
Which is, for people who don't know, how kids die sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of suction. Like,
Yeah.
it's the air pressure keeps it closed, and there's magnets in there as well. And I was a 3-year-old, so I didn't really know what to do. And they finally just found me. Like, I would have died in there.
So if you weren't playing against skilled hide and seek players,
Yeah,
you would have died.
I would have died for sure. Yeah,
When I was like 4 or 5, literally for no reason at all, I was just like, I wonder if I could staple my thumbs together. And so I went up to a stapler and I put both thumbs under the stapler and I slammed the stapler down on my thumb, like with my chin onto my thumbs. And I learned that yes, I could staple my thumbs together.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
I used to stick stuff up my nose a lot, which I guess was preparing me for my future because I continue to do that now, but like weird shit. So a beet, like a chunk of a beet one time.
Like the vegetable?
Yes. Shoved it up my nose, and my parents thought my nose was bleeding because there's like red liquid dripping out.
Yeah.
Like looking at it, like what the fuck is wrong with you? They thought I had some kind of weird brain disease or something.
It's like your brain's just actually leaking out onto your fucking face.
Yeah, and the reason they knew to look farther into my nasal cavity is because one time before I jammed a little chunk of a Nerf ball up there, and
As one does.
My head started to smell.
What?
Like my head stunk because it had been up there for a while, and collecting bacteria and shit. And they were like, "Why do you?" They're giving me a bath. Why do you stink so bad? I think I was like 2 years old.
So you had like toxic shock, but in your nose. You ever read about that where like like women aren't taught about their period right, and or this happened to like one chick I read about. She didn't really know. No one ever taught her how to deal with her period, so she just kept putting tampons up, but not taking any out.
Now, what's that look like at the end of the day?
not great.
Or at the
because
end of the week, I guess is probably a better way to say that.
She said that like the story ended with like she was like you could smell me from like 20 feet away, and someone eventually realized what was going on.
Well, yeah, people could like. I don't know if it was like a kindergarten teacher or daycare person or something, but somebody was complaining about my odor. My parents were like, what the fuck?
Your
You give them
Nerf
a
odor?
bath every day. Like nobody would. You would never think that somebody had some kind of shit shoved up their fucking nose, and that's why
Right.
they smell. But yeah, that was dumb.
There's just nothing with boys in particular that you can like put past them.
no, no. They destroy things though mostly.
Yeah.
And women, it's just biological. Like they're smaller and have different roles in society historically over the last 250,000 years or so. So they've learned to be more crafty, especially at an earlier age. Like boys, males are fucking stupid until they're probably in their late 30s. Like I honestly believe that. I think dudes are fucking morons until they're somewhere past their first serious long-term relationship with with consequences, meaning they lived with a person and had to untangle their finances, or they were married, or something. There had something other than just
Like a college girlfriend or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. Like you can literally see people like dudes like mellow out at like 28, 29, where like even at 26, they're just like, yeah, like I'm just going to do coke all night. Ah!
Yeah. I mean, Delco just did it for his birthday the other night.
That's true.
You went pretty hard. I liked that picture of you on the golf course with a heater. That was that should be on your fucking Tinder profile.
It should be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to pull that picture up, Giorgio?
It's going to get exactly who you want and
Oh, that was
chase
only in the
away
story.
everyone that you don't want or need.
Right. It's going to chase away all the pronouns.
Yeah, like it's going to really do most of the weeding out for you.
That's been a thing for me for some time now. I've completely stopped talking to anybody that has pronouns in their bio. Like I don't need to be on Tinder anymore.
Yeah.
Because for obvious reasons, but on Twitter even, if somebody comments on my shit or posts something and somebody links me to it, and I always go look at the person's profile first. And if they have pronouns in their bio, I don't even fucking talk to that person.
So
That's stupid.
Me and Giorgio were actually debating this a little bit the other day about because he was talking about people he swipes on his on Bumble and shit that have pronouns, and we were like, under 25, if they're doing that, I wonder how much of it is just like peer pressure. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you see a 32-year-old man with pronouns, you know that
That dude's a bitch.
Yeah, like he just sucks ass.
Like he has no confidence.
Yeah.
Nobody with any real confidence would do that because there's no reason. I can't think of a more empty gesture than somebody who is clearly straight, clearly male, putting he, him in their fucking pronoun in their bio. Like what? Who is that for? Fucking Hulk Hogan. Nobody thought you were a chick, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not that he's doing. I'm just saying that it's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, also, Giorgio and me will drive past the schools around here, and kids are wearing masks outside by themselves. Like,
why are the two
I
of
don't
you
understand
in
it.
your 30s driving around fucking high schools?
It's on the way to work.
in Austin. I think we need to alert the
he
authorities.
just said they're on the way to doing work when they go to the school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's me, by the way. This is my homage to John Daly
There we go.
for the PGA Championship.
Yeah. I mean, you're in a slightly better shape than John.
Yeah, it's
Daly.
like be fatter if you're going to do that.
You're so drunk right now, aren't you?
We really did Dave wrong in this photo, making him look tiny.
Yeah, the forced perspective is really bad, and he's like, the only thing that would make this picture worse for him is if he was standing like Forrest Gump with his hands on his hips, but
Yeah,
reverse style.
yeah.
Like, this is not a very good picture for him.
If you look at it from the side, he looks even smaller, and then he kind of looks like a small child.
Maybe he's one of the people you picked up at that high school.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, I want to dig back into that. So you guys are driving around
Together.
together.
Yeah, together, yeah.
Two 31-year-olds.
31 and 32.
And 32-year-old
Yeah,
are driving around
respectively.
fucking
Driving
high
around
schools
together
in Austin.
despite both having their own cars.
Well,
So they're hopping.
Delco just got his back.
That's
Just
true.
got my truck back,
That's
essentially,
true.
for my birthday, yeah.
Speaking of that, let's talk about that. What happened originally? Like, what happened to your truck?
So Dan actually go through like your apartment complex has just been like physically abusing your vehicle for like a year and a half.
Well, yeah, because you have like that entire feral homeless camp that's in the woods behind my
It's a
apartment
forest
complex.
behind his house full of hobos.
I think you should go become their Robin Hood. Like how he found all those kids out in the woods and
Right.
turned them into his little thieves.
Sherwood Forest.
Yeah, you should go out into fucking Sherwood, Austin Forest.
They already have their Robin Hood. They
Who's-
have a white Cadillac that sells drugs.
There's
out
a
of it.
white Cadillac Escalade parked outside. So in the month or 2 months that I was giving him rides, I would drive by the camp every day.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, you can't see the camp, but drive by the entrance to the camp. And there would always be a white Cadillac Escalade. Looks like, what, 2010? Like, it's not new.
It's not new.
Yeah. And it's an old couple that would just be getting out of it or like filling a shopping cart with shit they had in the back of it and just like wheeling that into some camp that you could not see from the road.
I want to go visit this place.
You should. They actually built like an entranceway with shopping carts and trash. It's kind of nice.
I'm going to tell him that I'm an ambassador from the UN.
But they've smashed my window a good 3 times. And then I've also had my car hit and run twice there.
Are you sure your window didn't have it coming?
You
For
know,
what it
it was
was
kind of
wearing,
asking
yeah.
for it, yeah.
Yeah. What was your window dress like?
It was, you know, it's a little. It was darker than a typical. It was tinted.
There you go. They need to see if you had a clear window, they could have seen that you had nothing of value inside of that truck and moved on.
Right.
But you tinted it, so they had to know for sure.
Well, when I was in Oakland, people would actually leave little 3x5 cards that said, the door's unlocked, there's nothing in here, please don't break my fucking window. Right?
If you want to take my user manual out of the glove box, like, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you should do is just hide in there at night with a fucking gun.
Trying to get it stateside?
Yeah.
That's for sure what they're looking for is a gun in the glove compartment because it's a truck. So
Yeah, for sure.
they're always disappointed.
Well, I mean, they would be extremely disappointed if you were in there with a gun.
Yeah.
And by disappointed, I, of course, mean dead. Now, let me explain the rules to you a little bit living here in Texas. There's something called castle doctrine, which means that your vehicle is an extension of your home. And if somebody breaks the barrier without permission, that is to say, opening the door, even if it's unlocked, or breaking out a window and reaching in through it, now it's burglary, which is a felony. So now they're committing a felony inside of your domicile, which means you can shoot them in the face. Just so everyone's clear on that. So that's what I recommend. Shooting people in the face.
Dan to go
I've
hobo,
always-
Dan to lay like a hobo trap.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of it. Like put some honey out in I don't know, how do you trap?
Yeah, it's honey. It's honey.
In my youth, I used to sleep in the back of a Dodge Durango, and I was very comfy. So I could set myself up something like that and just wait for someone to go in the front, and that's a real easy shot.
There's already been 2 references to you in the back of a car as a child.
Now you're living in the back. Like, what the fuck? Is this a cry for help? Like we already pay for your medical insurance. You can go get therapy.
Well, we're trying to figure out how to get in on this class action lawsuit with Wendy's McDonald's claiming that the burger ads were misleading to consumers.
Yeah, I need some of this money,
What?
to be honest.
What is-
Can you pull up the article? What's happening here? I'll sue anybody.
There's some type of lawsuit going on saying that the ads for Wendy's and McDonald's, the burgers in the ads, are meatier than the actual burger.
Oh, so it's a girth suit?
That's
type of
probably
situation?
true. I do feel like the Big Mac patty has gotten smaller over time. It's like watching bacon cook, and it's all of a sudden the size of a postage stamp or something. That's really upsetting to me.
So I've never eaten a Big Mac, and I never will eat a Big Mac, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, it's not special sauce. It's Thousand Island dressing,
Correct,
which is
yeah.
trailer park salad dressing.
Yeah.
So get the fuck out of here with
it's
that.
relish, mayonnaise, and fucking ketchup.
Yeah,
That's it.
that is what a Walmart customer who brings more coupons than dollar bills puts on their salad.
Yep, 100%.
And the other thing they do is, it's their special burger. They shove an extra piece of bread in there.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. Maybe it's for rigidity to soak up some of the sauce or something. I don't know, but
I guess.
like it may make sense structurally, but when don't steal meat from me.
Right.
I say that as a human male carnivore in America.
Here's
If
the
you
buzz from the WAPO.
I can't imagine a whole lot of crimes worse than stealing meat from me. You know what I mean?
Like if I popped into your backyard as you were smoking something and just ripped a brisket off out of your Traeger. Do you do Traeger? No, what do you do?
Oh, yeah, I got a Traeger.
Traeger? Just ripped it out of your Traeger and then, I don't know, just threw it away. Just threw it in the trash. Made it unsalvageable. You're probably putting a bullet in me.
No, I wouldn't shoot you because that's illegal, but I might I would do some weird shit to you.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
I get 20 in the Traeger.
No, I'd probably, honestly, I would do something that would fuck your life up for that. Like, killing is a solution to a persistent threat, but that's not what you would be. You would be somebody who's wronged me and I need to avenge that.
Okay.
Now, killing you lets you off the hook.
I mean, not a chance in hell you're ever going to get a burger like this from McDonald's or Wendy's.
This was the Grand Mac.
Is that still a thing? Because I'll eat that.
Right?
Yeah, it looks great.
But again,
It's just 4 patties. Get that fucking middle bun out of there.
No. That holds the sauce. That's another layer of pickles. Like that's for flavor.
Here's the thing with sauce though. That burger, you can just put the sauce on the burger. Like I have a double cheeseburger recipe I like to do where I use 2 different types of cheeses. One cheese goes on one patty, the other cheese goes on the other patty, and your tongue just goes up through the flavor.
So you're saying you're putting sauce on a non-bread item? That doesn't work. Have you ever had sauce fall?
I don't know.
off?
Have you ever eaten fucking
works.
ribs? Because that's what you're describing ribs.
Kind
right
of
now.
works.
Yeah, it works actually
Fuck
really,
off.
really well.
It
In
just-
fact,
but it does
meat
have to be
holds up-
stickier though, right?
The meat holds up better because the bread will eventually get soggy.
It'll get soggy. If that's going to be a claim now that we can sue Wendy's, McDonald's for false advertising, are we going to be able to sue Instagram models for not looking the way they do on Instagram?
Yeah, or porn actresses.
Well,
That
so
too.
here's a question. Actually, if you don't look like your Bumble, like there is a thing called rape by deception, right?
Right.
So how far behind does the deception have to be?
I'm sorry, rape by deception.
Yeah.
Is
So,
that can you actually be charged for that?
So if Rob uses like an Australian voice that he doesn't actually have
Yeah.
to get a girl to go to bed with
And
him,
tell her I'm Australian. Blah, blah, blah.
that's rape by deception.
Or he's an Australian prince. or
legal.
something.
But you would
whatever.
have the woman would have to prove that that you knew the only reason she was banging you is because of the accent.
Yeah.
Because men lie to get laid all the time. As a matter of
Nonstop.
fact, men would not get laid if not for lying.
I would actually wager to say that women lie to get laid also all the fucking time.
Every time they say I love you.
Wow. More darkness from the past of Giorgio. This is like a fucking, instead of Disinformation 2, we should call it fucking Giorgio's therapy session.
This is really. Oh, did we tell you about the show we want to do with Giorgio? Mm-mm. It's a show about all of Giorgio's fucked up history, mostly childhood, called Grappling with the Past.
No, I don't like puns, you know that. I'd probably watch it though.
He was telling a story the other day about a wrestling camp that sounded like. Honestly, I was an altar boy for like 7 years, and your story was the most molesty thing I've ever heard.
You were a fucking altar boy for 7 years?
Third grade to 8th grade?
He kept signing back up because he hadn't been molested yet.
Yeah. Wanting to be book is not book.
Yeah, you don't get the priest can tell.
Yeah.
They can tell. It's like this dude's actually reaching into my pocket. What the fuck's going on here?
Dude, they gave you a lot of responsibility in 3rd grade to ring those bells.
We started in 3rd grade. Everyone did. At my school, anyway.
Oh, we started in like 7th.
You never did the
7th and 8th
choir?
grade.
I didn't do choir. I can't sing worth shit, no.
I was never in the choir either. Well, not in a boys' choir.
I
That
did
was
it.
weird.
I did it in high school because it was an extra grade. I had like a bizarrely high GPA in high school because I took like 3 extra classes that were all joke classes and not during school, plus a couple AP classes that were also like AP theater, which was like who gives a like.
If you showed up to class in high school, you got an A.
No, I went to an actual school.
Okay.
I didn't go to a public high school in Delco.
Where all their funding is tied to the end of year test.
Yeah.
Like all the kids, Kane's taking STAR tests here in Texas right now. And I'm like, so is it the same as back in the day? Like the grade, it's not really a grade. They just kind of accumulate all the test scores, and if the test scores are too shitty, the school disappears? Or how does this work? And that's the case, yeah.
I kind of love that. It's not good for anyone, but
No.
it's really funny.
It is funny.
Like the stress of it is
Yeah.
hysterical.
I mean, public schools are fucking dog shit anyways. And the people that service them, public school teachers. There are exceptions, obviously, but for the most part, it's just garbage. So, anyways, the title of today's show is Disinformation to Electric Boogaloo. The Boogaloo. The reason for that is, as I'm sure you've heard, the Disinformation Governance Board has been paused, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
I guess in the same way that Coke 2 was paused, right?
Or Crystal Pepsi.
Or new Coke and Crystal Pepsi,
Yeah.
And more telling, I suppose, is that Nina Jankowicz, or whatever her name was, I think that's what it is, has resigned from government service.
Don't ever feel the need to pronounce a Polish or Eastern European name correctly.
I mean, I don't care because those people are irrelevant, but
But back to New Coke and Crystal Pepsi.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Why? Why has Mountain Dew been the only company to be able to successfully introduce new flavors that people want?
Because you already don't care if you're drinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to think about who it is that's drinking Mountain Dew. It's fucking gamers. Mostly,
They've had
right?
multiple hits. The Baja Blast, the Live Wire.
They've also been
Code
good.
Red.
But they had
Code Red.
what was the energy drink they did for a while?
Spark?
Not Spark, it was before Spark. A long time ago, like in the 90s. They did an energy drink before anybody else.
Let me look this up.
Was it Surge?
That was one of
that
those.
was
Surge was Coke's
was
answer
Mellow Yellow.
to Mountain Dew.
Yeah, okay.
Because Mountain Dew's Pepsi.
Yeah, but
And
no, Mellow Yellow is Coke.
Mellow Yellow is Coke, but Surge, so Mountain Dew's whole thing is that it has more caffeine than most sodas. And so Coke was like, all right, you kids want caffeine?
Kickstart?
That might be right.
No, Surge was the one I was thinking of, but it was, anyways. I wonder if, yeah, Mountain Dew did have Kickstart.
Should one
Surge, but Surge was Coke, and Kickstart was Pepsi. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know.
Surge was Coke. Surge was Coke's answer to. There was like this weird thing in the late '90s where kids were just like, "I want to drink the most caffeinated soda possible" because it was the only drug we were allowed to do.
Jolt was big back in the '80s and '90s.
I think you're thinking of Amp, Dan, as well.
Amp, maybe. No, Amp came later.
Yeah.
It was Surge and Kickstart back then.
Okay.
But yeah, Jolt Cola was huge.
Yeah, Jolt was the one that was even more.
It was like 5 times or some shit the
yeah.
caffeine of a normal drink. I really enjoyed Jolt. Who made it? Was it fucking RC Cola or some stupid
It was some
company like that?
third-party situation. Yeah, it wasn't one of the big ones. Which, by the way, looking back on my all the ADD medicine I took, and I've like been diagnosed with ADHD for real, like in grade school and shit like that. Honestly, probably not in grade school or high school, maybe high school, but definitely college. A couple cups of coffee probably would have been fine. Like I really didn't need to be on Adderall.
No, probably not. But
Yeah. But it was fun.
It's awesome.
And it made me a lot of money during finals week.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess when I was in late middle and early high school, going to coffee shops was a big thing because you wanted to tweak on something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I did that for the social aspect because I was already tweaking on every drug known to man.
I was gonna say that you did acid when you were like 10 or something.
11, I think.
Yeah. So coffee was just adorable.
Yeah. But anyways, back to this governance bullshit, disinformation. Hold on, let me pull up this article.
Yeah, so the Disinformation Board, which is part of Homeland Security,
It was part of DHS, yeah.
has been suspended, which means I can finally say without repercussion that Bill Gates likes to have sex with adults.
I doubt it. With adults? Fuck out of here, man. You remember that he looks like he's getting super fat.
Gates has always been chubby.
Yeah, but not like...
Have you ever seen... But, like, he's always been like a bag of mushrooms. You know what I mean? Like a Ziploc bag of mushrooms.
There's certainly no muscle on his body anywhere.
Do you remember the famous video where...
Like all the idiots dancing in 95 or 98, I guess it was.
Yeah. I mean, look at what he looked like. He just looks like a wider version of that.
Yeah, and this is the problem, right, for patricians. So he's rich, he's going to buy up a bunch of stuff, and the only hope he has to continue existing is to pay stronger men to protect him, right? That's how it always happens.
That's history, baby.
Yeah, so the problem is, I don't know if there's enough money in the world to convince people indefinitely to protect you. Like, do you remember when right before the second triumvirate, the Mark Antony's fucking spies basically went through Rome and murdered everybody he didn't like and just took their money, right?
Yeah.
Because he was the fucking general guy.
Yeah.
We're not in that kind of culture anymore. Like, there's no, even when
You know, my favorite piece of Roman history is actually it's from not from that, it's from what the fall of Rome, because I know you like to talk about feudalism a lot. So cities were getting sacked fucking constantly. So people all moved out to the country. Like, Rome depopulated by like 90% or something like
Yeah.
that. Like Rome itself, like not the Roman Empire. They all moved out to the country, and they were like, okay, we're safe here, and these lords will protect it. Like, not these lords, but just like the patricians or whatever you like to call them. They're like, yeah, they'll protect us because they have like a nice little private army, or they used to be a commander, and they have their troops or whatever. And then after a while, those guys were just like, yeah, you can't leave.
Yeah. Now, all your stuff's my stuff now.
Yeah, like, you can't. Hey, you're gonna stay. Actually, I'm reading a good book on that right now. I totally blanking on what it's called. Empires of Faith. It's my favorite time period in history. I actually think it's the most instructive time period in history for now, from the past history, which is the transition from the fall of Rome to the height of Byzantine Empire, and then the Arab conquest of that. I kind of feel like we're in we're like in an equivalent situation to like 540 AD. I feel like we're around that type of situation.
Yeah, but the difference is power is concentrated in a different kind of way. It used to be concentrated in wealth and military strength, and now it's concentrated in wealth and political power. And political power is empty. Like, it only exists. It's like Tinkerbell. It only exists because everybody believes it exists.
I think the invasion of Ukraine has shown that military strength is still very much on the table.
Not in America, though, right? What I'm talking about is if, let's say, one of the major groups, whether it's the EU or the United States, were to dissolve and break apart.
Oh, internally,
right?
no, it's not. Yeah. I agree with that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The distribution of power, if things went completely fucking sideways in America right now, would be extremely interesting. Like, I would like for it to have happened already, and I would be studying it right now.
It has happened already. I think the best the most, like, I was talking to a buddy about this the other way. Like, if there was a civil war, which there won't be, but if there was a civil war tomorrow, you can't look at it the way as like the previous U.S. Civil War. That wouldn't happen. You're right. It wouldn't be geographic. The English Civil War is a better comp for that, because that was mostly there were like some geographic divides, but it was mostly urban-rural.
Yeah, and the sides changed from time to time. The allegiances of the plebs changed from time to time, depending on who was popular. It's really stupid.
The English Civil War in the 1600s, I think, that is the one that's like that's way more comparable to anything that would be going on today than the U.S. Civil War.
Yeah, but I think the ruling class definitely knows that something's brewing, and they're trying to stop it, so they just keep hitting us with things like viruses and inflation, right, and foreign conflicts until, like, it's basically like jingling a set of car keys in front of a baby so it'll shut the fuck up. That's where we are right now. And I don't know if anybody's got the will really to do anything about that, but it has. I was talking to on American Party to Robert Spencer this morning, who does a lot of work in international terrorism, but also about messaging domestically. That's probably where he's best. And there have been quite a few victories against like corrupt government and government adjacent organizations over the last 18 months. Like, things have been tried. This is one of them, this Disinformation Board. Yeah. And it just got fucking annihilated.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that they thought it was okay in the first place to even suggest something like this is pretty telling.
So my thing with the Disinformation Board is, like, there's two parts to it. Like, certainly 100% they should be figuring out, like, actual disinformation problems, like Twitter bots run by Russian fucking troll farms. You know what I mean? Like, that's disinformation that I would hope that the U.S. government is combating. But what they pitched it as and what it apparently was supposed to be was insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it was
Like there is actual disinformation to combat.
yeah, they wanted to go. Well, the disinformation is from outside the country primarily, which is, I mean, that's interesting because if you think about progressive politics over the last 4 years, I was reading some articles and doing math this morning. George Soros in the 2017-18 cycle had about $700 million in play. There's another dude, the fuck's his name? Some Swiss dude that nobody knows this guy's name. Hans-Jörg Weiss, who had a bunch of money in as well. He's the number 2 outside the United States, like a non-citizen who spends tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars every election cycle in the United States for a decade now.
Yeah.
Right? That, to me, is a big problem. In the 2018 election cycle, Soros and Weiss accounted for 12%, right around 12% of all campaign and PAC spending. So 2 foreign nationals, right? One of which
Are either of them American citizens?
No.
Okay.
And one of which, Soros, has the stated goal of trying to end empires, right? That's like a notch on his belt. That's something he likes doing. Are allowed to just freely spend however much money they want inside the U.S. election system. That seems like probably not a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, we don't let foreigners run for president.
Nor should we, unless it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll forgive him for the "fuck your freedom" line if he just does the whole thing in character.
Which character?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Probably Predator.
Yeah.
Predator 1.
Dutch.
Yeah.
Needing to be Dutch.
If he did the whole 8 years as president like that,
Yeah.
I would be fine.
By the way, it's pretty upsetting to me that meme has been, like, famous forever. You know, black arm, white arm. And, like, no one remembers that that's Predator.
Yeah, is it Carl Weathers?
Yeah.
The other arm? Yeah.
Yeah.
They were super jacked. I think fucking Mac and It's Always Sunny talks about the...
Apollo Creed.
Shut up. But I do like, yeah. I like Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers' best role, though, was actually in...
Arrested Development?
Arrested Development.
Oh, yeah. Acting coach and noted cheapskate Carl Weathers.
He's like, you can get a free refill anywhere you want. Yeah, he's fun. I don't know if we could have Carl Weathers as president, though. You know, he's just too... He hasn't maintained the level of mass that Arnold had. Arnold's still jacked.
Arnold has the mass that...
Carl Weathers looks like he's turning into an old man. Arnold looks like he may live forever.
Kind of. Like, that man smokes, like, 3 cigars a day in a hot tub. Is a hot tub just the key to eternal life, kind of?
I think if you switch between the hot tub and the ice bath, then you just live forever.
Yeah. Your body doesn't know how to react, so it just keeps living.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, yeah, we just keep going. With this disinformation board, what's interesting, actually, is that, like, I kind of saw a lot of people that weren't into it. Obviously, like, conservatives were the main push against it because it's not a conservative thing at all, and it's under a Democratic administration. But even even the ACLU and shit, I believe, was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And the ACLU at this point, I think even The Atlantic just ran an op-ed on this the other day that was like the ACLU, it was from a like super liberal person too. They're like, the ACLU sucks ass now.
Yeah. Well, they're basically just like anti-Republican at this point. And apparently so is Rolling Stone. Never would have thought that, right? After they put a literal terrorist on the front page of their fucking magazine in 2013.
I mean, Rolling Stone was the outlet that accused an entire fraternity of gang rape without
any proof.
Yeah. But not even without any proof. So little proof that they forgot that one of the rapists didn't exist.
Yeah,
like they didn't even bother to check, like walk into the fraternity and check a composite to like which for those who don't know, a fraternity composite is just a picture of everyone in the fraternity that hangs on the walls. To see if that person was there.
It kind of reminds me of this kid I know named Blake. I went to high school with. He was a little squirrely fucker. But he was kind of like a cool version of McLovin kind of looked the same too.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like super annoying. He was really funny and a smart ass little piece of shit. And anytime the cops would show up to any of our parties, the cops would be like, all right, tell me who else were at this party. And he would start naming obscure American presidents that nobody would know. And
to be fair, though,
they're writing down names.
Like Martin Van Buren.
Yeah. It was it was a joy to watch.
I mean, if you think that someone in the year 2008 or whatever is named Millard Fillmore,
Yeah.
that's kind of your problem.
I feel like it is, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing going on today is the stock market continues to fucking tank.
So I asked you about this before because, all right, you can rip me apart for this if you want. That's fine. I don't really care. A big thing that trends on Twitter a lot is like, well, there goes your 401k. Like it's down for sure.
Yep.
But it's still at an all-time high.
Sure, yeah.
So, I'm not trying to downplay the stock market diving like it is. That fucking sucks ass.
Yeah.
However, that's really, at least for your 401k, right? That's probably only a problem if you're 65. That's not a problem if you're 45.
Yeah, probably.
Because you're not cashing out your 401k for another 15 to 20 years.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't think that for most folks it's too big of an issue. I mean, you shouldn't overreact to it, certainly.
Like, don't ever watch your 401k every day. Don't even watch your investments every day.
No. Not unless you're a fucking day trader, but that's like,
Right.
I wouldn't recommend that for novices either.
Unless you're just chasing that AMC fucking
Yeah.
GameStop
I mean,
high.
if you're doing it for fun, then do it. But if you're doing it to try to like if you're trying to get paid, that's,
Yeah, if you have like fuck around like gambling money, and you'd rather use it in the stock market than on mybookie.com promo code Drinkin Bros, that's fine. But use it on mybookie.com promo code Drinkin Bros. Yeah, what the fuck is going on with that? Like, why is it kind of tumbling like it is?
Well,
because it is 4,000 points lower than its height, I believe. It is still, I think, 2,000 to 3,000 points above pre-COVID levels, but. I mean, fuck, dude. Like a 4,000 point tumble ain't nothing to be fucked with.
in the last calendar year, right now, it's down about 1,000 points.
Okay.
Over the last 5 years, it's up 10,600 points, I think.
Right.
So, I mean, if you look at any particular segment of an event, you can declare victory or success or failure and not be correct about it.
Right.
So you're right. If you're on a timeline that includes another 15 fucking years, I think just calm down. As far as for what caused it, I mean, some of the things are starting to regulate. So there was not a lot of housing demand for a couple of reasons. New constructions got paused, as you know, because finding materials was a big fucking problem, right?
I
And
believe-
new construction is a big part of the balance in the housing market. Like, there's always going to be people moving from one rental to location, or one location they rent or own to another location they're going to rent or own
Right.
that already exists. That is a finite market.
Yeah.
You can always build more, and if you're not building more, then that finite market is all you're trading. When you're trading a finite item like that, and when I say trading, I mean buying and selling, as people do with real estate.
Right.
And the demand outweighs the supply, then prices go way up. Then people are getting less for their money. Then interest rates have to go up to address the inflation. And that's what we're seeing right now. So this is all expected. This is what should be happening. Some of it, you can blame a lot of. This isn't the biggest part of inflation, in my opinion. It's only one part of it. But the housing market, I'm not sure what could have necessarily been done to avoid this. You know
What,
I
the
mean?
housing market going up so
Yeah.
much?
Yeah, because people took time particularly from the summer of 2020 to the summer of 2021, to be like, all right, well, everything's fucked. I'm not working in an office anymore anyways. We're going to move. We're going to go do that thing that we were going to do.
Like that, well, and not
You
only...
can't control that shit.
Not only that, but it just showed people who were living in 1,000 square feet apartments that they need more space.
Yeah.
And especially because they didn't need to go into a workspace anymore, right? Like that, as soon as COVID happened, not as soon as it happened, but once I kind of like got the lay of the land and was like, oh wow, there's a lot more work from home and stuff like that. The first thing I thought was, this is gonna help my home price a lot because people are going to realize that they need homes and that they want homes. And I would need to look at more of the numbers, but I do kind of feel like part of the reason millennial home buying went down, there's college debt and the 2008 crisis that kind of put I graduated in 2009, so I'm part of that sort of recession graduation class or whatever. But there are people, so we're behind schedule financially a little bit, just a little bit. But I kind of think there are also just millennials and shit like that kind of were just like, never felt like buying a home. Like it felt like an adult thing that they didn't.
Yeah, maybe.
Didn't feel like
we
right
didn't know how
to
to do
do.
our taxes, much
Right,
less
like
buy a home.
it felt like buying a home was like imposter syndrome
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's some element of that, yeah.
And then after COVID happened, people kind of like got slapped in the face and were like, "Oh, dude, no, wait, I should buy a home." And like instead of jacking off $1,000 to $2,000 a month on a rent that I will never see again, I can do that in a mortgage. Maybe not in a place that's like as cool to live as my sweet apartment that has like 3 restaurants downstairs or whatever. But I mean, that's literally what happened to me. Like I lived on South Lamar in Austin, had multiple restaurants at the bottom of my at the bottom of my apartment complex that I could go and eat at and drink at, like bars that I could walk to and shit like that. And then I just we realized we should get a house. I mean, me and my girlfriend were getting married, and we're like, yeah, we should do that instead. I think a lot of millennials COVID kind of shoved them into that reality space where they were living a little bit of a, because you said this all the time, like kids or like people are getting they're not growing up as quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it too. Like if you just like a 20-year-old now is not the same as a 20-year-old in 1960.
Right. Well, I mean, the cost of living relative to the average salary is out of fucking control.
Oh no,
right?
for sure.
So like when if it was 1955 and you had just graduated high school or college or whatever the fuck, and you were getting ready to enter the job market in a serious way and buy a home. Let's say you buy a home and it doesn't go well for you. The consequences are so much less severe back then than they are now. Now your credit's fucked forever. Like for 7 goddamn years if you fuck it up. Or if you lose your job, it's not exactly that easy just to go get another really good paying job.
No, it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the consequences are so much higher.
I agree with that.
It's something that just hasn't been addressed. Like we've failed on multiple fronts there. We haven't communicated to kids, the millennial and zennial generation in particular, how fucking important it is to own real estate. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's one of the, it's as I've said a million times on this show, it is the way that most middle class and upper middle class people create wealth in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And we haven't done a very good job of communicating that to them. Or from a higher level perspective, we haven't taught kids how to delay gratification in life at all. You know what I mean? Like we've worked to make things more convenient because the more convenient things are, the less people get hurt by inconvenience like disease and shit, and the less the more we can do experientially throughout our lives. But there is a diminishing return on convenience as we're seeing now, and it is that people become little bitches that can't figure out anything in life. So that's kind of where we are now.
But isn't that why you give them like tasks or controlled environments where they like learn those skills in a way?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's what Brett and Heather talk about.
Yeah.
And the Hunter-Gatherer's Guide to the 21st Century is
Which in my mind used to be like summer camps, like whether it be like Boy Scouts or sports. Like,
Well, hold on. Talk about your summer camps again.
Oh, God, here we go. But it's like time away from your parents in a situation where you have to, on your own in a lot of scenarios, navigate a set of rules in a social environment where you have to solve problems at a lower level. Like
in
that's
an environment you're not used to.
Yeah, it's a really important thing for a kid, and they don't get it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
I consider myself a failure if my child ever cries.
well, you should. C. Hapes says Carmen Electra has made an OnlyFans. I mean,
Yeah, but what does that mean?
everybody's already seen her naked.
Right, for years.
Like if she's not getting like railroaded by all the worst possible things I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Then
it
what
also,
about like if it's just her in a bikini?
I think it lets you DM her, and then you're under the assumption that she's going to respond to
Now
you.
let me go ahead and tell you that is not what's happening. Some probably fat girl or maybe even
generous that it's a woman. Even.
Maybe even a Filipino dude or like a fucking dude in Thailand or some shit is being paid at a click farm to run, or in some cases, it's just a bot that responds to all that stuff. So good luck talking to Carmen fucking Electra, right? I don't know why anybody would want to, anyways. Ask her about Dennis Rodman. Maybe,
nobody beats off to nostalgia. I mean, literally.
My own.
Yeah, I pound off to those Pepperidge Farm commercials.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, or remember the Grey Poupon? That was a good marketing.
Where they pull up and then just roll down the window.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
That is just like the '90s version of that meme now that I love. It's just like, you look paw. That's what I say to people who don't have baby formula. By the way, you look paw.
I thought it was a kind of a ripoff of the Pace Picante thing.
Which,
like New York City.
Yeah, which is hilarious though, by the way, because Pace Picante is dog shit.
Yeah, it's not great. Although I enjoy it because it doesn't. There's nothing in it, right? So I can make my own salsa using it.
Yeah.
It's like a base.
filler. Yeah,
It's a salsa base.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That's fair.
But yeah, there's not a whole lot in it. But I whatever.
Should we buy a bunch of paste salsa?
Like
label it?
Who was their competitor that was making salsa in New York City? Like just thinking
Literally
about.
no one.
I own businesses. I know like how much cost of goods are affected by the location that you're producing the goods in, and no motherfucker on earth would choose New York to produce their CPG.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. We need to find out who it was.
The implication also is essentially like that there's just no Mexicans in New York City.
Well, they're Puerto Rican.
They are.
Right?
But they have their own.
Dominican. There's a different kind of salsa. You
It's
probably
still
get
salsa,
a lot of mofongo up there, probably.
A little sweeter.
Did you guys know that paste was made in San Antonio?
Saint Antoine, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Now I'm looking up all the.
No, it's St. Anthony, I thought.
It is, yeah. But
Okay.
funnier to say Saint
Antoine.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Brooklyn Salsa Company. There's La Escuela. Tenyo Original.
Anyone that existed in 1985 when this fucking marketing
Right.
campaign came
When
out.
it was fucking 5 white cowboys around
Yeah.
a fire being like, I only get my salsa from
Yeah.
New York City.
It was basically John Rocker. They just bleeped out all the fucking slurs.
By the way, do you want to do that for the next baseball show? Is just read word for word the John Rocker article?
We'll probably have to record it, bleep it, and then fucking publish it.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know if we can get away with that.
Again, I always maintain that is one of the funniest things I've ever read.
Yeah, little to no awareness of anything.
Like I almost like to the point where I'm like, that had to be steroids. Like where he was just like so angry that he couldn't help being like wildly racist in front of someone who he knew was writing down everything he was saying.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me of what's his name? The guy we had on the show, McChrystal, when he had that Rolling Stone reporter following him around, and all of his dudes are just getting shit faced and talking shit about everybody. And like, what you literally invited a journalist into your group.
Well, dude, there's a certain amount of people I feel like that are like, but you're cool, right? You've been around us a while, so like you know us, you're cool, you're gonna be cool about it, right? And it's like, no, that guy is going to, or that person, whatever, that guy or girl is going to take whatever the wildest shit you said is,
and that's the story.
And that's
yeah. It always happens like that. So what are you gonna do?
Have you not seen the movie Almost Famous? That's literally the plot.
Yeah.
So you know.
That's what spies do. Like that's why I don't trust anybody that's nice to me. Like anybody, especially to me, because I'm kind of a dick. And also people who, anybody that's been around me for any amount of time knows that you don't have to be nice to me. If you just say things very bluntly to me, that is fine. I don't mind that at all. So if you're like overly nice to me, I assume you're trying to trick me into something.
Like you do respond better to me or anyone. Like if you walked in and we were like, "What's up, you bitch," as opposed to like, "Hey, Dan."
Yeah, that would upset me a lot. And I have it doesn't happen in this studio much anymore. Every now and again, Sean will do it, but this preamble that people feel like they need to engage in before getting to the point. I've especially when I worked at Black Rifle, people would do that because they were used to working in more of a corporate environment. They're like, hey, so I'm like, don't fucking do that. Skip it. Skip the preamble. I don't need to know any of this other bullshit. Give me the meat and potatoes, and I will decide if I have follow-up questions.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this shit.
That's all. When I was editing it, like TFM and stuff like that, when I'd have to edit articles, every time someone wrote something like, "We all know that," I would just want to be like,
Then
they were
why'd you
remote.
say it?
Yeah, I like they were a remote writer, and I'm like, I want to fly to where you are and stab you in the face.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's experience.
That's like the inverse of one thing led to another, which I don't remember. I think George Carlin did a good bit on one thing led to another, because that's like, as a writer, your job is to explain how one thing led to the other thing. It's like, what do you mean one thing led to another? That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, what were you going to say?
Pace was sold to Campbell's Soup for $1.1 billion.
Oh, shit. Is that dude going to draw a painting of Pace?
Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
He didn't actually do the painting. He stole it. Just put his
Whatever.
name on it.
I mean,
God, you are such a fucking hater.
He was the original content aggregator.
yeah, he was the original fuck Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I mean, Michelangelo didn't carve like almost any of his shit.
And
Yeah, but you're like a chef, and you can take credit for everything your sous chef does.
That's fair.
The sous chef is basically a slave.
Yeah.
So that's I understand that.
That's fucked up.
Well, that's how it works, man. You got to pay your dues.
Well, that's why I told Ross about the baby. Like, Jessie, she has a bun in the oven, but when do you ever thank the oven for baking a cake?
That's true. Yeah, you thank the chef.
Yeah.
when we move Sean to Grill Master or Chef Sean, do we get him a sous chef?
No, he is the sous chef.
Okay, so he's got to like marinate and prep his own grill and
Yes.
stuff.
Like, just use the word slave.
Yeah. Well, slave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do we
What are you
chain
gonna
him to the grill?
I would say probably chain him to a radiator somewhere. I don't want him to fuck the grill up.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, that's the only point of even having a radiator inside your home anymore, is to chain people to it.
Yeah.
You don't need it anymore.
So we just come install like non-working radiators to chain people to.
Yeah, I mean, that's like that. If the next time one of my friends gets married, I'm going to give them that as a wedding gift. I'm going to have a radiator installed in your home so you can chain your wife to it and leave her there during the day.
That's honestly.
That seems reasonable to me.
I don't understand why we don't get into the radiator play market more.
Because nobody's bought a radiator in 70 years.
No, yeah, but you don't use it functionally anymore, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
you sell them that and some bolts. So they bolt it into their drywall.
Yeah.
And then you chain to the radiator.
Well, you want to anchor that into a stud. You don't want this lady dragging the fucking drywall out of your
That's fair, yeah.
house.
That's going to be art. It's just going to be a radiator in my house with like handcuffs on it. People are just going to ask questions.
And then the one side of the handcuffs are open and a little bloody.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be a conversation starter between them and the fucking authorities, right? Like, when they call 911, that'll get the conversation started. Can I help you? Yeah, there's a radiator in this dude's house.
Well, just say when they ask, like, say it's a piece of art, and when they're like skeptical and they're like, well, who did this? And you're like, I never got her name. She left before I learned it.
Tell them it was a fucking protester that chained themselves to your radiator.
Yeah.
To protest not having a home, I guess. I don't know. Oh, God. This is fucking stupid.
What if I honestly, back to homeless people, I want the homeless people by Dan to get their camp get so elaborate that they actually just build a property.
I think we should start crowdfunding to get something built there just to piss him off.
Yeah.
Like, if there was a way to, I guess I could reduce his salary and do that at the same time, so it's like a multi-front attack.
We bring a general contractor in for development.
Well, you just
Yeah.
go into the homeless camp and be like, I will give you, I don't know, $1,000 if you build a shelter out of parts of a black truck that you find in the nearest parking lot.
Or just like pay somebody to every night put a bunch of McDonald's in the back of his truck and like inside of it, and then lock the doors even if he left them open.
We'll leave a window open, and then like raccoons get in there, and it's just like a big. It's what is it? Which movie was that? Will Ferrell, where like all the hobos fucked in his Prius.
Soup kitchen.
No, it was the other guys.
Other guys,
Yeah,
yeah. Big Mike and the boys.
Yeah, Big Mike and the boys. It's called the soup kitchen though. Yeah.
Deer lips in there, deer vagina.
I actually like raccoons. I feel like we should make an effort to domesticate raccoons.
Oh, I completely agree.
The same way we did with dogs and cats. Why have we not done this?
They're halfway between a monkey and a cat.
Yeah, they're
like literally.
They're super cute.
They have hands.
Aren't they really angry though? And possums are cool.
They're angry because they're afraid of you.
Yeah.
Right? If they're like you, if you've seen a one of these things in captivity that's been in captivity its whole life, they're super nice. It's like a cat.
Okay.
Actually, it's more like a dog, I guess,
Is
personality-wise. Yeah, they're not.
But
like,
they shit in a box, though.
Yeah, but cats are like
They're dicks. Yeah.
they're dicks. These things are actually pretty
Cats
nice.
suck.
There's a couple. I follow like 1 or 2 Instagrams where it's like following someone's pet raccoon, and it seems fucking incredible. Like I want a raccoon.
Yeah, there's definitely one that breaks into my garbage cans on a regular basis. I'm thinking about putting a fucking camera out there, but I'm getting ready to move, so I don't know. I should get a trail camera and put it out.
Oh, have you not moved yet?
No, I move. Let's see, 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks.
First week in June.
Second week in June.
Oh, nice.
Close enough.
Yeah, I don't do math.
I'm still
Definitely not.
on board for September. Hopefully that fucking sticks.
Yeah, I mean, technically, our movers are set up for the 14th of June.
If I find someone who domesticates raccoons, can we order one?
I will buy one immediately. Yes.
Okay. I know there's domesticated foxes, so I'm gonna get on this raccoon search.
There are domesticated foxes, and I've looked into this for obvious reasons. They cost they're only like $1,000 to be honest.
That's
which,
not bad.
Like I know that like $1,000 is not a small amount of money, but if you're gonna get like a crazy, like exotic pet like that is already domesticated. The only problem is with foxes. I don't know if raccoons have this problem. Foxes are a little skunky in that.
Yeah, they stink. They're like deer. They piss on their legs a lot.
Yeah.
So that if you
they spray shit everywhere.
yeah,
and-
that's one of the ways you can actually track male deer, especially, is they piss on their leg.
Yeah.
And there's like if you ever hunted a deer and you see that black streak down the back of their leg, that's what that is. It's fucking years of piss.
cool.
It's disgusting. Piss leg, old piss leg.
You don't get a lot of leg venison burger.
I mean the leg up high, yeah,
Yeah.
but not like down at it's nothing but sinew and fucking bone down there. So let's get some raccoons for sure. I'm down.
Just for the new office?
I found this at Fraser Farms. They have kits for sale. I don't know what a kit is, but
A kit's a baby fox.
I don't want a fucking fox.
no, this is a raccoon. Buy raccoons at Fraser
Yeah,
Farms.
I'd
Well-
rather have a raccoon co-op than a monkey co-op.
That's you're getting close to having to find a new job here, but
They're more resourceful.
that's true. I mean, I feel like you would have to spend less time paying attention to the raccoon, right?
For sure.
Like it seems more autonomous than a baby monkey.
Yeah.
Like they're just gonna get into everything. Like I don't know. I feel like the society from monkey to human is too close. Like the raccoon is still a self-reliant animal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
A monkey.
But you wouldn't need a co-op at that point. The monkey co-op is because the monkey isn't self-reliant, right?
Yeah, the monkey needs way more time to learn, like how to just be alive. Whereas a raccoon's like a puppy or something almost,
Yeah.
where like it's 8 weeks, 9 weeks, like it's getting pretty good to go, and by like 6 months, it's off on its own.
I mean, they got 4 different colors. They have gray, black, cinnamon, and albino.
Cinnamon. Is it a stripper?
is this raccoons?
Yeah. At Fraser Farms.
Put that up on the screen.
Look
so I
at
can
this
see it.
thing.
Holy shit! I want this now.
How much does it cost?
You have to inquire for price, but then there also is a $65 health certificate CVI.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, luckily here in Texas, you can get pretty much any kind of animal you want.
Aren't there more
honestly.
tigers in Texas than
In cages, yeah.
in the
than
world?
wild.
Yeah. Like Houston, like there's more tigers in like a Houston cocaine dealer's home than there are like in hundreds of acres in India, which feels wrong, but isn't.
I have a Savannah F3. What does that mean?
Someone in the chat,
Is that a license?
ALW has a Savannah S. Oh,
It's a type of cat.
Oh, it's a huge cat. It's a really big cat.
He says he's the coolest cat ever. He eats raw meat. I mean, I don't know if that makes him cool. Does he wear glasses?
Oh, man. It looks like you can get lemurs here, too.
Well,
Fucking nerd.
sunglasses.
Let's not get away from the fucking point here, which is to own raccoons.
Yes.
I I need one of those. We need an office raccoon. It's going to live with Nick.
Well, obviously, the website is, I'm going to put it back up again. And if one of the Drinkin Bros wants to order us a raccoon.
Well,
that's
is
a
this?
lemur.
This is a lemur.
I know. I'm going back. Give me a second.
We got to pick one animal.
I think raccoon.
I want a raccoon.
We're
It's-
Americans.
Call now at 423
A trash panda.
237 5885.
Somebody from Drinkin Bros, get out there, call that number, and figure out what it's going to take for us to get a fucking raccoon.
By the way, the Braves blew it in the bottom of the ninth and have blown it again in the bottom of the 10th.
Jesus Christ. Well,
So
good for them.
I'm glad we ended that baseball show early because I'd be screaming at the screen otherwise.
Yeah.
That is fucking wonderful.
Yeah, sweet. Typical of them.
Jansen's got to blow one, right?
Yeah.
He's not
yeah.
going to be perfect.
No, certainly not. And now it's an extra inning, so it's that stupid runner on second bullshit still.
Yeah.
I hate it. Anyways, we got to get going. We're going to go see if Ross has forced Jessie to finally have this baby yet or not. But please, somebody look into getting us
A raccoon.
Yeah. We'll pay for it, obviously. I just don't want to do any of the actual work.
None.
I think Jesse's having the kid tonight, according to Ross's Instagram.
Okay. Now, do you think eventually he'll get annoyed and just toothpaste tube her? Just roll her up.
I think you go off the top rope with the elbow,
Okay.
right? So, I mean, the construction of the ring is probably going to be the most difficult part.
That's fair.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So,
Nor am I.
yeah, what are you going to do? All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Dicks.